I want to think about distinguishing between two different things in our budget. One is what I'm going to call spending. This is when you decide, you know what? I need that croissant. I'm pulling in to the bakery. That's spending. All right? Investing is when you decide, you know what? I'm gonna go get that certificate in that additional degree program. The state does both kinds of things. We do spending. We could do it this year. We could drive past the bakery, or we could buy the croissant. And we do investing. Things like education. Things like our UC system, our Cal State system, things like science and research, those are investments. They return dollar after dollar, multiples. Our workforce is an investment. You have to protect that in the toughest times. When you fail to invest, not only do you not get those multiples of return, you actually get the other direction. It saves you $1 in year one and costs you $3 in year two.
Should the lowest polling Democrats in the race for governor drop out? The chair of the state's Democratic Party doesn't explicitly call on anyone to bow out, but he did write this letter asking members of this crowded Democratic field to seriously consider whether they have a real shot at victory, what he calls the viability of their campaigns.
And when they look in the mirror, they know whether they are a viable candidate or not, whether they have a path to the general election.
And that's because if Democrats in the saturated field split the vote, they could actually pave the way for two Republicans, yes, here in California, two Republicans to go head to head in the general election for governor. Yes, that's unlikely, but it's totally possible given our state's jungle primary, which means that the top two vote getters, regardless of party, move on to the general.
California's leadership is more important now than ever before.
The subtext here is, look, there have been lots of polls about this race, and if you're not one of the candidates consistently coming out on top of these polls, then you could ultimately do more harm than good. It's worth noting that the California Democrats didn't endorse anyone in this primary because they couldn't come to a consensus, and that could be reflective of how the general public would approach this election, which is why Rusty Hicks might want to see this field narrow.
I respect all of these leaders. I give them the benefit of the doubt to assess their own viability.
There's a new leader in the race for California governor, but the field is still too crowded for comfort for California Democrats. New polling puts Congressman Eric Swalwell at the top with 17% of support among likely voters, followed by Republicans Steve Hilton, Chad Bianco, and Democrat Tom Steyer. But look at how many people are on the slate for the Democrats, and the Democratic Party chair says that's too many and risks splintering the vote to the point that the top two vote getters to go on in November are Republicans. You'll remember we haven't had a Republican governor in California since Arnold Schwarzenegger won the race in 2003. So now the Democratic Party is going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on polling to make sure that voters, donors, and the candidates themselves know who has a viable chance and who should drop out. By the way, the party could have endorsed a candidate at their convention just 3 weeks ago, and they chose not to.